Yeah. So people were telling me like I have a really bad time, I guess, doing introductions and I should introduce people, but I don't know how to go about doing any of that. So pretty much just Lizzie and Albert. Thank you guys for coming by.
No problem.
So what have you guys been up to lately? I've seen your Instagram feeds and it seems like you guys are relatively busy with traveling and taking care of the kids.
We're busy with me recovering from having a baby. Not my own baby, but I'm a surrogate mom. So I just had a baby like literally a month ago today. So just focusing on that. Every weekend we go to LA to take the baby milk because I'm pumping for a baby too.
Oh, it's LA? I thought it was Santa Barbara.
No.
Oh, yeah, we were going to LA.
Okay, so you guys are driving then.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier to drive it to the baby than it is to ship it because we were looking into shipping it.
Yeah.
It is such a pain. I was just not having it.
Yeah, you got to like package it, dry ice, get the dry ice label, how much
Yeah.
dry ice you have in there. It's just like, it's a lot of steps.
And I was interested on that because first off, like, how does one get involved with surrogacy? I don't think there's like an app like, Tinder or anything like that.
No.
So how does one like become involved, like a legitimate path towards surrogacy if they're so interested in doing something like that?
So my first step to looking into surrogacy was just Google. Like I just Googled surrogacy and like just you would be amazed how many surrogacy agencies there are, and you basically just have to like check out each and every single thing that pops up.
Yeah.
So I picked the one that was closest to home, which was literally maybe 2 miles away from us.
Oh, okay.
So I went with them, and I had a good experience, but now if I do it again, at least I know, or if someone asks me, I know, okay, you know what? I like them. I'd rather, not like say you have to use them, but just as reference,
From personal experience.
Yeah.
What is that conversation like? I mean, as a married couple, because clearly when you're making big decisions, there's always that, hey, this is what I'm thinking. And how does that kind of conversation pan out for something like that?
When she first brought it up, I was kind of like, I was unsure about it, I was like, I don't know if I wanted to do that because, with pregnancy, there's always risk involved in everything. And, but it's something she thought about for a long time. And then it got to the point where she was like, I'm doing this, like, I have to do this. It's like what I'm meant to do is like how she felt. So I was like, you know what? I just got to be supportive. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
And I told her like, do it, and then, so we had our conversations, but it was pretty much just like go for it. And it was just like a whole lot that unexpected that we didn't, we didn't know what was going to happen.
I bet.
The whole process, like screening and making sure her body's good. Mentally, she had to take like psych tests and stuff, make sure you're mentally ready. All the injections and hormones and all that. It's just a crazy process just to get pregnant, or even before, just the legal and all that. It took like 6 months
altogether
before she
easily.
even started the injections to do the transfer part.
Yeah.
Because it's not like when you want to have your own child, you don't have anything that you have to clear. It's just have a baby.
Just clear a night,
Yeah.
Make sure that the kids are asleep early.
Yeah.
That's about it, No,
So there's
this
a lot
is way
of
different, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And did you guys have to travel like out of town to do those things too?
Yes.
Yeah. The main appointments were in Pasadena.
That was the hardest part of the whole process, was driving to these appointments because
And then
it's
the
such a long drive.
The in-between ones were in Santa Barbara, though, so those ones weren't too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, that's quite a journey that you guys went through, because clearly there's like the whole pregnancy process and then the delivery process and everything like that. And I don't know like if it's kind of too touchy, but like the emotional, did you guys experience anything emotionally during this journey?
For me, I think the hardest part was right after I got pregnant. I had 3 transfers, so it means there was 2 failed transfers. That first transfer was a chemical pregnancy, which means like basically the baby doesn't like continue to grow. It basically gets to a certain point and stops.
Yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't consider it a miscarriage, just because usually with a miscarriage, the baby grows to a certain point, you know. This one it never grows past a certain point. It's meant to not grow.
Gotcha.
So I had that, and
that one was pretty tough.
That one was the toughest part.
And then them coming out positive. Oh, she's pregnant. It worked. And then, they do a blood test. What was it, every week? Mm-hmm. And then we'd go every week, and the numbers went up slowly. And then she'd have to go back again. They went up slowly again, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh no, they just like stopped. You're not."
Yeah.
So that was kind of a bummer.
That was the hardest part. And I remember like driving home in the car because they had called me, and I'm on speakerphone, and they're telling me, you know what, the IP, which means intended parent, they just want to just stop the meds now and just let the pregnancy go. And I was like, really? Like, are you sure? Like, I know we can make this work. And, I've never dealt with anything like that. So that first one was like the hardest. So
you mentioned 3. Were there like 3 different intended parents, or was it like?
It was one parent.
One parent.
And they had 3. No, I think they had 2 male.
Yeah, 2
embryos.
Male embryos and 2 female embryos, but he really wanted a boy.
Okay. Yeah.
So she did. The first one was they had, and what's crazy about embryos is they have different grades. Like there's stronger ones that are more likely to like take and work, and then there's like lower grade, I guess.
Yeah.
So he obviously used the best grade embryo first. That one didn't work, and then he used the second one. That one didn't work. So then we were like, oh man, like he's out of boys, and she kind of felt bad, like he really wants a boy.
I could have done more. I could have done the girls. He told me, if you want to, because then you'd have to wait like another couple more months. So he was basically trying to be nice to me and say, well, if you want to just do it, you can try for the girls if you want. Like, basically he would have settled for a girl, and I'm thinking, no, you want a boy. Like, and this is not my baby. This is your baby, your choice. Like, if you want to wait, I'll wait. You know what I mean? I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, it was right before the holidays too, so it was like perfect. Like,
it was
like, let's
nice.
take a break. Enjoy the holidays. Let her hormones and her body balance back out and everything. Kind of work out a little bit again and get in the groove, get ready, like prime her body again, and then he got new embryos made, and the third one was the charm. It worked.
Oh wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Was it? I was curious if it was like, when you're preparing yourself mentally to have a baby and then going through this process, like, how did you mentally prepare yourself from, this is what I want to do, to now I'm doing this? Mm-hmm. Was there any like difference, or was it like, no, I'm kind of just on this path? Like anything unexpected?
Have to roll with it. Yeah, there's always just things that pop up, and you're just thinking like, wow, I did not see that coming. The final transfer that actually worked, finally got pregnant, doing good, like, and then I go to my appointment, and they're like, you're doing great, keep going. And then all of a sudden I started having like bleeding, and it was happening at work. So I'm very active at work. I work in a bakery. So the more active I was, the more I would bleed. So I started calling the agency that did the transfer, saying, hey, like, something's not right. I'm like bleeding. And they kept telling me, it's fine, you're fine, all your levels are good. And I keep telling them, no, like, something's not right, because I'm bleeding, And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, what if I lose the baby? Like, I don't want to lose the baby. I can't go through this again, And finally they said, okay, we'll set up an appointment in Santa Barbara. So I went over there. I was so nervous. We
were both nervous, yeah. We were like, is the baby going to be in there? Is his heartbeat going to be, Yeah, it was probably the most nerve-wracking part of the whole thing. Going to that appointment, like, just wondering if the baby's good, Yeah, that was the main thing.
But sure enough, he went in there, did the, I forget, I don't know.
Ultrasound?
The ultrasound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he found a hematoma above the baby's sac, which is basically like a blood sac sitting above the baby sac.
Oh.
And I was right. Kept thinking, like, something's not right. And sure enough, so they wanted to put me on light duty, but since I work at Costco, there's no such thing as light duty. Yeah. So I basically went on bed rest, and that once I got through it, I was just so thankful, because every single day you're like, you don't feel the baby moving yet. So every single day you're just thinking, okay, is everything okay? And I wound up getting a Doppler just so I could hear the baby's heartbeat, because I wanted to make sure that baby was in there and he was growing good.
We had those same experiences with our daughter. My wife was just like, she wasn't moving much. Like our son was very active just all throughout, always kicking and punching and moving around. And she was more mellow. So my wife, because she was worried, like, is everything okay? Are you still there? And we didn't have one of those Doppler things. Like we started seeing it like on social media. It's like, oh, that would have been cool to have.
Peace of mind. That's what it's called.
Yeah. The craziest thing or little piece of technology that I remember coming across after our son was born, because he was born 2 months early, so he had a long NICU stay. And when you bring them home, like I'm pretty sure you guys experienced this with your firstborn, you have zero clue what to do. You're like going in there, are you still breathing? Like all this like paranoia kicks in. And they sell like this little sock, I guess, that hooks up to your phone and gives you the same readings, like the heartbeat and the oxygen levels and everything. And I was
Our
like,
brother and sister were talking about getting that.
Oh, really?
They're staying with us, and they have a newborn that was born a week after the surrogate baby. And they were like worried. They're like, should we buy that thing? And my brother-in-law was like, $300? Like, no. Like, and she's like, this is your child's life.
Yeah, a lot of people want like they want the information. Like, but then with our daughter, when she was born, it was like, you're gonna be okay.
You're good.
You're breathing. You're fine.
With the second one, we're always like, you're good.
We're not in there all the time.
I can definitely. I remember being paranoid. Like I remember walking in on Brooke like during her nap, and like I kind of just like nudged her, and she didn't move, and I like freaked out, and I was like, Brooke, and she moved. She like startled, like, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness.
Right? And they'll look up at you like, I was sleeping. Like, what are you doing?
She went back to sleep, but I was just...
Yeah, sometimes the naps go too long. Like, our son was a consistent, like, 5 or 10 minute napper. And one day we, like, took him out to the pool, and he did some swimming, like, with the little donut floaty thing. And he crashed out for, like, I want to say 45 minutes. And we're sitting in the living room like, is this okay? Should he be sleeping this long? And just all these questions run through your mind that you're not prepared for.
Yeah, I'm happy that phase in our life is over.
How were the kids when they found out? I mean, because introducing this whole concept, this whole idea, I mean, it's a family affair. You guys all have to be on board. And I mean, with change and dynamic, at least we're experiencing that right now. Our son can change from teacher to teacher, and his mood can just be all over the place. Was anything different with the kids when they found out, or when you sat them down to talk to them about this?
I don't think so.
That was probably like one of our biggest, not worries, but focuses was like really like letting them know like, hey, mommy's going to be carrying a baby. Like this is, for another family. Like she's going to give this family a baby. Like, like you have your brother, you have your sister. Kind of preparing them and letting them know like from the very beginning, like what to expect, I guess, in a way.
And we constantly reminded them all the time because Brooke is 4. Well, she just turned 5, but she was 4 during the process, and just constantly reminding her like, okay, remember, this isn't our baby though. He has to go back to his family. And I'd give her an example. How would you like it if someone took you home and wouldn't give you back to us? That's sad. We would miss you. And that's how it is with this baby. They want their baby home,
Oh, explaining those concepts to
Because she
kids.
would always ask, like, are we going to see him? Like, are we going to be able to go play with him? Are we going to do this? And I have to remind her, no, he's going to be home. They live far away. So it is kind of nice. We take her with us to go see the baby every weekend, so she actually gets to see like this is the baby that mommy had in her belly,
And the intended parents that we got, like it's a blessing. Like some of the intended parents will be like, okay, after the baby's born, like no, we don't want any contact anymore, and just kind of shut you out. And I think that would have been a lot harder on all of us, But they're like, yeah, if you come by LA area, like give us a call, or. So they're super cool as far
That's
as like,
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Because it's an impact that you both had on each other's lives.
Yeah.
In essence, like 2 families came together and made 2 families larger.
Yeah.
And then to sever that tie, that would have been a hard one for, I think, anybody to have to experience.
Yeah. And they're a Chinese family, so it's the difference in our cultures and stuff, and like that language, like trying to understand them. They speak good English, I think,
But they have that
for being a second language, but
accent though.
Yeah, but we still are able to connect, and I love that. they're such good people, though. We love them.
That's really awesome.
I always say, I'm like, oh, I just knew as soon as I saw them, I knew like they were the ones that we wanted to go with. I knew. It's kind of like Tinder, how you swipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the beginning you have like a choice too. Like she went on there, made her profile basically, and the lady told her like, oh, you're in California, you have a low BMI, like you're gonna go fast. And she's like, really? And like we were like, okay, like we'll see. We didn't think it would happen fast. And within like the first 3 days, I think another family had asked like, oh, would you be our surrogate? But they wanted to transfer 2 embryos at one time, and she was just like, if both of these work, like I'm gonna be having twins.
Oh yeah.
And because I guess they had weaker embryos, like we were talking about before. There's different grades, so they were like, we want to try 2 just in case one doesn't work. At least we have the other one that worked. But she was just like, I don't know, I don't want to risk having twins. So she sadly turned them down. But we got a good family.
That's pretty cool.
It
So
was meant to be.
you're put out there into the world where it's like, okay, here are all the possible surrogates you can choose from, and then the surrogates then receive the people. So then, kind of like a dating app or something like that, and you're able to then make that choice.
Yeah.
But we are also really blessed to have them because sometimes maybe intended parents can be really like, oh, be careful, you have my baby inside you, and they trusted me completely. Like, I worked out my whole entire pregnancy, and
I saw you guys' Instagram videos and all that stuff. And
so easily they could have just said, we don't want you working out, like it's too dangerous, but they didn't. They completely trusted me. And
well, even then, like things that my wife and I had read, it's good to stay active during your pregnancy.
Very good,
As long as you're active prior to, like, they're like, don't try any new things you haven't been doing, but stay active as far as
like maybe not CrossFit or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And I swear people would stare at me because I have this huge belly and I'm like squatting low.
Yeah, I think it was like our doctor had told us that whatever you did before you were pregnant, you can still do. Listen to your body though, of course, and practice in moderation, but maybe, like you said, don't do something extreme. Don't try to step outside those bounds.
Yeah, don't go do a marathon.
Yeah.
That might not be best. That's pretty cool. So what else do you guys have on the schedule now? I mean, you're still making trips down south, but I mean, you guys have done bodybuilding competition. Are you guys going to get back heavy in the gym again, or?
I am. Albert has a herniated disc, so he's kind of limited as to what he can do.
Still sidelined right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been a year and a half running.
How's that?
Dealing with that, so.
How's that been on you, like, mentally? Because I know, like, for myself, when I tore I think it was, like, tore the cartilage in my rib from, like, it was the dumbest thing, too. I shoulder shrugged too much.
Oh, no.
And I popped a rib, and the doctor told me, you just have to wait it out.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you for real? So I couldn't bench. I couldn't do anything. And I was just, I sunk into like a mini depression because I couldn't work out anymore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've definitely had my highs and, lows. I don't know. I'm more anxious, I think, of anything. Like, I want to get back at it, and it's just like, I can't, dealing with workers' comp and attorneys and, all that kind of stuff. It's a headache. They've been dragging everything along. So
I always joke with him because whenever he does something, I'm like, we're always watching.
That is like a whole part of, like a whole workers' comp thing. You feel like they put you in a place where you feel like I'm being watched all the time, Like
you have to lay low,
like,
especially
like a
lifting.
celebrity. You're like, I'm under a microscope, So it's
like, so he can squat 405, but why can't you pick up this box?
Yeah. And so it makes it tough, even though I do have clearance from my doctor, like, you can go to the gym, you know what I mean? You know what to do, what not to do. But in the back of my head, I'm just like, well, what if they say this? What if they say, you know what I mean? So for me, I've just been kind of stay-at-home dad right now, just hanging out with the kids. Well, and her now that she's out, just enjoying that time.
Yeah.
And I know when time comes, when I get treatment and I get better, that I'll be back at it, I'm definitely going to compete again. But
because since you're both home, because you're maternity leave, that still kicks in even as a
I don't get
surrogate?
bonding time.
Okay.
That I know of. He's like, you need to check. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I don't get bonding time.
I don't want her to go back.
Yeah, I get the recovery time, which is 6 weeks.
Okay.
So
we joke about our house because, like, I was out on state disability, and then you went out on state disability. Then our sister-in-law, the one that's living with us, she's out. And then our brother-in-law, once they had the baby, so we joke, oh, we're a disability house. The neighbors see us bringing stuff in, but we're not working. They probably think it's a drug house or something.
Oh, man.
These druggies.
That's got to be so much fun for the kids, though, to have you guys home. My wife just recently got back to work. Like, we did the one-income household, which is super tough. It is for anybody out there who like tries to do it. Like you can find a way, but like eating out, non-existent. Like really stretching that dollar.
Yeah,
it's happening all the time for everything. You're thinking about like, well, maybe I should just use the restroom at work or at the gym. I guess toilet paper costs money, and so like it gets to that extreme.
Yeah.
But she recently went back to work, so now we're like both out. And that time, like you spend with your kids and at your home and watching them grow up, it's fleeting. There's a lot of parents out there, and I don't knock it for the ones who enjoy their career and then like family when they get home. But I think the both of us, and you guys might be the same, we want to be around our kids all the time. Mm-hmm. And if we could make money doing that, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Seriously, though, I feel so guilty, though, because our kids fight, like, nonstop. Like, I don't mean, like, little squabbles. I mean, like, screaming, raging fights.
Oh, jeez.
And I get so mad at them, and I, like, you guys, stop yelling! Like, mad. And then I feel guilty. I'm like, you know what? I should be enjoying this time. But how can you enjoy them when they're, like, screaming?
Right.
So I'm trying to like work on it, but I always joke how I'm always like the crazy mom because I am not the perfect mom like at all. But I even tell the kids at night, like, okay, even though I get mad at you guys, I still love you so much. Like I want them to know, like, I'm sorry I yell at you, and I'm really sorry. And my daughter looks at me and she's, you don't have to apologize.
She said that to me the other night too. Yeah. You don't have to apologize.
I think it's one of those things like parents just don't understand, or kids don't understand until they get to that level where it's like, oh, now they're parents. And then it's like, wow, we really drove our parents crazy. Or we really, like I've been having these just thoughts of like my childhood and how my parents must have felt just as wild a kid as I was. My brother came in and he was telling me, yeah, you used to get in trouble a lot growing up. And the things I must have blocked out of my mind, but then we're raising our kids, and it's like, kind of like, hey, you did this, so now you're experiencing it too.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing my mom says. I was a problem child, so she was like, it's gonna come around, and here it is.
It came around.
I don't think they're as bad as me. Like,
yeah,
I think I was pretty.
I'm like, I don't know why I'm being punished.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, my wife, she'll say that too. She's like, man, I always listened and I always like followed the rules. That's your son right there. And,
well, my problem with Brooke is she's like a teenager already. Like, she's 5 and already she's acting like she's 15 or 16. Like, walks around the house like, whatever, mom. I'm like, excuse me? Like, what?
That can be tough. Like, just trying to converse with them because they're not mentally there yet, but they might feel like they are.
Yes.
And even picking up my son from school, like he's already at that level where it's like, how was school? Meh. It's like, real? Just meh. That's all I get. Did you learn anything? Nope. Why are you going to school then? I mean, what's going on here? You're not going to communicate with me and talk to me? It's something that I'm really trying to, like, 21 questions this kid the whole drive home. What'd you learn? What'd you do? What'd you eat? And why didn't you finish your lunch?
Right? Why didn't you eat your apples?
Yeah.
I kind of went through a thing like that with Albie, and she looked up like this whole list of like ways to ask your kids questions like after school that they would respond to, and like basic stuff wouldn't work, but there was like certain questions that they're like,
oh, really?
I forgot what it was. Yeah, she looked it up. It was there's certain questions though that like, how was your day? They won't respond to that. But like if you ask them in a different way, I forgot how it even was.
Yeah, I'm a Pinterest mom. So.
Yeah. But yeah, it was pretty cool. She tried it out, and we got more out of him than
There's like so much stuff when it comes to like trying to I don't know, child rearing or raising your children or teaching them. And I don't know, like you guys, if you guys have looked up online? And have you guys read any books or anything like that on how to do this?
Actually, I have like 3 books on my bedside.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to read. Right when I start reading, I can read like a page, and then I just start to like drift off to sleep. I'm like, I have to read that whole page all over again. I need to get like the audio version of every book.
Yeah.
Because I can work and listen.
So how do you guys find the time to do things? Because that's one of the things, like there's a guy at work, and he's about to have his first child, and he does all this extra stuff, which I'm sure you guys did before you had kids. I know I did before I had kids. I was out of the house, I was hiking, doing all this stuff, and then you have kids, and now you do very little. Not that it's a bad thing, but explaining to him, oh, you're doing that? Yeah, that's not gonna happen anymore. Like your free time is gone. So how do you guys find the time? Because I find my pockets of time early in the mornings or when everyone's asleep. But your kids are a little bit older now.
Yeah. Sorry. My boobs are going on.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man. Nursing. Oh, I mean, not nursing, pumping. So, I don't even know. I think the last time you asked us this, like, how do you find time? I don't know. I don't know how we do it.
Just comes natural. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how we...
Well, I think at the age they are, they definitely come with you a lot. At least that's what I see, like on the gram. Like they're there with you at the Y.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the YMCA, though, I have to admit, is a huge lifesaver for us right now.
Yeah. Really?
Just, like, if we can go to the gym, work out for an hour, and then we go running straight into swimming practice, and then, the kids can be in babysitting, and it's just so much easier. We can, like, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We don't have to, like, pick up and drive to another place. It's already there,
Yeah.
So I think that right there has made our life a lot easier.
Yeah.
But for me, right now I'm trying to, like, organize the house, deep clean it, and, like, reorganize all of it. Because I know when I go back to work, like, cleaning is always the last on my list.
Oh, yeah.
So if I can just get it organized, then I feel like when I go back to work, I won't have to spend so much time cleaning. I could do... And Albie's needing help on homework more, so I could sit there on the computer with him trying to do homework for like an hour. That's time that I don't have to spend cleaning or whatever. But
I think we have really late nights too. That's how we make more time. We make more time during the day doing other things, but we're up till like 1, 2 in the morning recently, like quite a bit.
Oh, man.
Yeah, just whether it's her pumping before bed or just just budgeting. We have her budget book now, and
that's a really good thing, I think. Like we're really trying to maintain that now that there's a second income, still remaining diligent on ourselves because we were able to do it with one. So now that we have an increase, it's like, how are we going to still budget and manage savings and doing things like that? Because you can very quickly grow into that income.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. As soon as you make more, you spend more is what it always seems
like.
Yeah.
I'd love to just save up money to where if something comes up, it's not like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Go sell your kidney or something, I don't know. Like, so I want to have like that backup.
Yeah, we budget like last year we budgeted like Christmas like all year. So then when it came to Christmas, it wasn't just like, oh, our bank account's like zero,
Yeah.
Because we have, December 9th is one birthday and then Christmas and then January 6th is another birthday.
Oh, so you guys are like banging them right out one after
like
another.
3 times. So it's like budgeting ahead of time and putting, small amounts away throughout the year helps definitely to do that.
But I don't know how it all happens. I ask myself every day, like I try to write everything down in my planner, and how am I going to do this? Like,
yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, another thing, stopping to eat. Like you got to eat, you know what I mean? But you're so like especially if you're in the mood and you're cleaning and you're doing stuff, or you're with the kids and you're doing something, like you don't want to stop, but you got to eat too. That's my other thing.
And you guys started meal prepping again? Am I right? Or
no, I just meal prep stuff for me at home.
She has dinner. Yeah, we have like dinners done, but during the day, it's just been like we've been just like snacking, like not full on meals during the day. We've just been kind of just small little things here and there, just to keep us going through the day.
Yeah.
So kind of like she said, we're on the go, so it's just like get something small, a couple hours later, something small, and then we have a dinner. And
is that kind of working out? Because I'm kind of curious, like if I'm like thinking, oh, I've got to make meals all the time, but now, I mean, I have like snacks in my lunch pail for work, and I'll just kind of eat little things here and there.
Those little peanut butter sandwiches that Costco sells.
Or the Smucker's Uncrustables.
They're so good.
Those are a good little go-to snack.
But I'm thinking, okay, if I can just get some carbs, some protein, and, like some fruits and vegetables in, that's all I need, But I'm pumping, so I have to, like,
put on
the calories, Yeah. So, especially because my body, I feel like, attacks, like, all my fat sources, and I can lose weight, like, super fast. So I've been trying to up my calories because I don't want to get rail skinny again. Like, I do not want to be super duper skinny again. It's just I did not like it. It was not flattering for me. But
I used to be like her. Now my metabolism's kind of slowing down a little bit. So I got to actually try a little more now.
Yeah. But once you lose it,
once I'm active and it'll come off. But I'm being
it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
Eventually.
We both got a little pudgy tummy right now. We're not used to it. We look in the mirror, we're like, who is that?
I know you guys probably look back at like your competition day.
Oh yeah.
And thinking, wow, a lot has changed.
Yeah, look what happened to myself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we let ourselves go. Okay, maybe a little. But I just had a baby. That's my excuse. And he has a herniated disc. So you can't be perfect.
Well, and you don't have to be super fit to be perfect.
Yeah.
As long as you're healthy and happy, that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm happy with my body right now.
And then sometimes I go brain dead, so I thought I had a question, but I don't.
Well, there's so many aspects to our life. You're like, where do I start?
I know, and we haven't had the time to sit down and ever really talk. It was just like in passing or through Instagram DMs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you guys are definitely out there in the community. There's a lot of people that, have looked to you and for fitness advice, and now with this journey that you had taken with surrogacy, it just seems like a very multifaceted, like you guys have a multifaceted family who's doing a lot.
We're always hustling. Any little hustle we can find, we go for it.
And I think that's really awesome because a lot of people, they just, not to knock it, but they'll remain sedentary in like one thing. Mm-hmm. And there's not a lot of just dynamics to what it is they're doing. So I think that's maybe why people are drawn to following you or to watching what you're doing. And I was definitely curious as to like, definitely with the surrogacy and then you guys fitness and all that stuff. And even with you organizing your house, I mean, we've gone through some of the cabinets to try to follow in suit because I think our hallway closet, it's just like, there's just stuff in there.
You don't even know what's in there, right? Yeah.
It's just all crammed in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I've always heard, okay, when you have an Instagram and you're trying to build a following, you want to have a niche. So, or a niche. I don't know. I've heard it both ways. Anyways.
Maybe it's both. Depending on what continent you're on, it's probably both.
But I can't have one niche. That's not my life. My life is not just working out. My life is not just organizing. And nobody's life is like that, you know? My life is my kids, my family, my husband, my organizing, my surrogacy. It's everything. It's who I am. So why am I going to show people one side of me when, all of me is what I want to share, not just one side of me,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think maybe people might be catching on now and saying like, hey, I get to share my whole life with people, and they can see the struggles. They can see everything, not just the struggles with working out every other couple weeks if I have a struggle,
Yeah.
And that was the thing I was always thinking, what do I post today on my fitness account? Because I've already posted the same selfie or the same picture like 4 other times last week, But I love that I can share more of myself with people because, sometimes I think I'm boring, but some people say I'm not, so that's kind of interesting.
That's what killed Instagram for me, was posting like the same workout or the same type of thing. Like, oh, I'm squatting again. Yeah. I'm benching again. It's like I'm here every day. So that's kind of what I took a few steps back. And even with social media, I think with Facebook, I'm seldom even on there anymore. And with Instagram, that's still kind of like my go-to. That's like my kryptonite. I'm always checking it or I'm on it, but I'm not really doing content for it.
That's where I'm at right now. Yeah. I kind of live through her Instagram in the background.
Literally.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'll just tag myself in this.
I'll just jump in this video, let them know I'm still alive.
I recently saw that that rifle build that you did.
Oh, yeah.
That came out really clean.
Yeah.
Are there 2 rifles? Or is there just one that got painted?
Now.
Oh, there's 4. Okay.
There's 4 now, yeah.
Because I saw the one that you did.
There's a tiger camo that I did, and then I did a mermaid theme one for her.
Yeah. Those came out really clean.
Yeah.
I love them.
It was a lot of work, but yeah, it came out good. I was up the night before till like 2 a.m. because I'm waiting on it. You paint it, and then you have to bake it. It's like a ceramic.
Oh, really?
Baked on, so it's like hardened, so it's like chemical resistant, scratch resistant,
So the gun is in the oven.
Yeah.
No bullets, of course.
I used to bake it in her oven inside, and we were like, oh, that thing stinks, and like, I don't know if this is good. Like, we're going to be baking our food in there. So I found on Facebook a smoker pit for $50. So
oh, really?
Bake them outside in the backyard.
Oh, nice.
That's been like my hobby. Keep me busy, keep me going, doing something, and I enjoy it. So.
Where do you go shooting? You go like like an indoor range or outdoor?
We go to Slosa, the outdoor range in Slow.
Okay. I've been there.
Highway 1. Yeah, that's like our go-to spot. I just like it outdoor. A lot of targets and stuff. So
when do you guys, or are the kids already involved in like learning safe practices with shooting? Or it's my cousin. They're avid hunters.
Yeah,
they grew up. I think as soon as they could hold a gun, they started learning. How to fire a gun.
Our son is scared of guns. Like, he won't even go in the room if like the guns are out on the bed, and he's just like, no, like, put the gun away and then I'll go inside. He's very scared.
I've taught him like how serious firearms are. So he's more of the scared one. My daughter's more of the curious one. So I have to really be on her, like, hey, no, this is a real gun. We don't play with them. We don't touch them. Only adults, or if when you get older, I'll teach you. But she's cute. She'll come in the garage and be like, hey, Dad, can I help you build your rifle? So she's always watching me, trying to help and stuff. But they both know that, they're not toys. They're serious,
Making that distinction, too, because even with my son, teaching him the difference between tools, because I don't have any rifles or anything, but the difference between tools and toys.
Yeah.
Like, he has a plastic saw in the house and he's going crazy, like he's gonna cut limbs and stuff. And then I have a real one here in the garage, and I have to tell him, the way you're playing with that can never happen with this. Like, there is a huge difference between the two. And I tried to buy him, like, I bought him like a real flashlight, not one of those little toy plastic play school things. It's like, no, this is a real tool, so you should have a real one. It might have been too soon because he was using it like banging on stuff, and it's like
a hammer.
It's like, okay, well, this is gonna magically be lost. And he's like, where's my flashlight? Where'd you put it?
My son is getting tongue twisted. So my son, I got like a little setup like this because I want to record like when I do like cleaning videos or like organizing, because that's like really big on YouTube right now, is like cleaning videos. So I wanted to get back into YouTube this year and like try and stay on it. Well, my son is thinking that he is also going to get on YouTube. They already have like a little channel. They call them the Swole Kids.
Yeah.
So he's telling me, Mom, I want to use your setup tomorrow because I want to film a stop motion video. And
he's like, Mom, you have to edit it though. You have to edit it and do all that work.
I can't. Like, are you kidding me? He has his own computer, so I'm hoping maybe I'll teach him how to edit videos and stuff, because I also want him to learn like Photoshop. And I bought him a book at the Goodwill, a Photoshop book. So now he's asking us,
Mom, when are you going to buy my Photoshop? I have a book, but I don't have Photoshop.
He knows how to do it, but he doesn't have the software.
Yeah.
So yeah, his dream in life is to be a YouTube star, and mom is getting in the way.
Wow. Yeah, that's tough with the saturation of social media and YouTube and even online streaming and just all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that he's getting in young because there's a lot of time he can invest in building his brand. But I'm sure, as you guys know, it's tough.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
What kid doesn't want to be a YouTube star?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's like 8-year-olds that make way more money than we would ever even imagine. So I can see why he wants to do it.
Did you guys ever think like maybe he would want to do like game streaming and stuff like that? I know some kids are doing like the video game thing, going on playing like Fortnite or Minecraft.
He'd be the funny kid that like rages all the time.
Bad rager.
They would follow him just for his raging.
Yeah. But I mean, then again, some people would find it funny, and then there's some people that would like make fun of him.
Yeah.
And so along with the streaming, like comes like the bad comments, and I don't know how well he could handle.
Yeah, he was on a stream with like one of his buddies, I think, and you know, there's people at the bottom of the chat like, "Oh, you suck," you know, "You're garbage," and like they like ignored it, I think, because they didn't say anything about it. But you know, that's out there. Like it's kind of crazy, you know, the
comments
cyberbullying
from people
and stuff.
you don't even know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready to expose him to cyberbullying yet.
I know.
I'm still trying to deal with the bullying at school. You know.
Is that still a thing? Because I was curious. Like I remember. I mean, we're very close in age, so I'm pretty sure bullying was like a real thing, but it was like physical. They would like physically hit you or push you or whatever. But it was different because when they were throwing like comments at you, they were really pulling at straws, like your mom's this or your dad's that, or pointing out a physical feature. But now with social media, they can Google you and find facts.
Yeah.
And say like, oh, your mom, she didn't love you. It's like, what are you talking about? Well, look at this tweet when you were a baby.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, my bratty son won't let me go to the club. Like whatever the case may be. So I'm sure bullying is probably really wild now.
I mean, I was telling Albie just this morning about this kid that used to bully me in school. I think I was like 2nd or 3rd grade, and he used to bully me. And I told Albie, I remember pushing him into the bushes. I got so mad at the kid. I just finally had it and just pushed him into the bushes. And I told Albie, I'm like, after that, I never got bullied ever again because I stood up for myself. And I was like, I'm not having it. I may have buck teeth, crooked teeth, but I am not putting up with bullying. And so, I mean, if Albie is in a situation where he's getting bullied and stuff, by all means, take care of it. Do what you got to do. And he'll probably get in trouble at school, but...
Yeah, because schools, I think they're really starting to tighten the reins on kids getting physical with each other. Mm-hmm. Like when we were young, you could defend yourself and you'd probably get a slap on the wrist kind of thing. Like maybe they'd call your parents. But now I think there can be a full-blown expulsion and just a long list of things.
He's already been suspended.
Really?
Yes. There was this kid that was just trying to get under his skin, and he knows how to get under my son's skin. My son is like short-tempered, and my son just had it, and I don't remember, what did he do? I don't think he hit the kid. I think he almost hit him.
Okay. He swung at him.
I think he swung at him, and the teachers got in between like really fast, and he got suspended. And but I told Albie, I'm like, you know, like this is why you're suspended. I was not happy, obviously, but at the same time, I said, you know, if this kid is bothering you and getting under your skin, you know, and you got to try your best, either walk away or, because that's what you have to teach your kids now, just walk away. Because if they try to like defend themselves, they get suspended, just like my son did. So
I'm curious as to what that's going to teach our children though when they become adults, because those rules don't apply when we're adults. Yeah. Sometimes we can't just walk away if someone's really getting on us.
Bigger person, but
I feel like that's one of the biggest problems, like the way kids are being like
to be more passive.
Yeah, be more passive, and everything's okay, and it's okay to lose. You know, just all those small little life lessons.
Everyone gets an award.
They're really making kids soft and letting them get away with a lot of things these days, like compared to our childhoods. You know.
That sucks because I literally told Albie that last week that they lost their basketball game, and I was like, it's okay that you lost. Like you still went out there and you gave it effort. Like I saw you hustling.
Well, I think that's okay because but everyone getting a participation award kind of thing. Like when I played recreational basketball, there was first place, second place, third place, and the rest of you were just there to watch. Like none of you went home with anything. And that was just the way it was. It sucked.
I know. I didn't get my feelings hurt.
Yeah, but it's like we lost. So they won.
I feel like not getting something like, can inspire you to work harder, and then you can grow and,
I wonder if there'll ever be a shift back to that.
Yeah.
In some small way, because it wasn't always the best all the time.
Yeah.
But there has to be like a happy medium somewhere.
Yeah. I think it comes down to the coach in general. Like, am I going to give my kids trophies this year for participating, or are they going to try harder next year,
Yeah.
Excuse me. I got that on there too.
Yeah, I don't think anybody heard it, but people saw it. So, yeah. So then when it comes to, how has bullying changed, I guess, in school for you kids from when you guys were in school? Are there more people watching these students? Because when you talked about you defending yourself as a kid, I remember I hit a kid in the face. And nothing happened because he must have not told or no one saw. But I just felt like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in huge trouble for this. And it was over something super petty. Like they wouldn't let me play basketball with them. And then here I am punching a kid in the face for it. That's probably the worst reason to do anything. But there was like no one there to watch it. No one there to see it. Are there more people, I guess, on the playground watching kids now?
I think so. And I've also noticed that they have different groups of kids now. So instead of letting the whole school be out on lunch or whatever, they're separated. So they have different grades out at certain times. So you don't have like older kids bullying the younger kids because
we were
they
all
have
out
different.
there.
Yeah, it was like being in prison and like the Gen Pop being like, But
well, yeah, you guys went to school across the other side of the bridge, so it was a little bit different out there than Arroyo Grande.
Yeah. Gen Pop at school or what?
But I honestly think kids are meaner nowadays. Like they're mean. And I even see it because, if they don't bully you at school, they'll bully you on social media, You
can't get away from it.
You hear stories about 8-year-olds like killing themselves because they just can't take it anymore, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Like my son made a remark last night about, I don't know, I don't think he was serious, but just the fact that he made the comment just kind of like scared me about like not wanting to be here anymore. And I'm just, whoa, like where is this coming from?
That's really heavy.
Yeah. And like you really have to like sit down with them and like talk to them and like, what's going on? Why would you say that? And he just says, oh, I was just joking or whatever. And like, that's not a joke. That's serious. And I was thinking about it, like, I'm totally going to look into that and, like, bring it up with his doctor. And
we were able to get away from it because as soon as the school bell rang and we came home, we didn't have the internet. So,
yeah.
I was bullied, I want to say 1st through 5th grade. That was a long stretch for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I would come home and confide to my dad or my mom and just tell them, I'm getting picked on and this, I cry, whatever. And they would tell me it's okay and you got to be strong and give me the courage to feel better. But kids now, it's like you can have this same conversation, but as soon as they go to their room and they're on their phone, there might be, a DM, a meme or whatever made about them.
Yeah, you can't escape it nowadays. So I think that's the scary part. So,
do you think you guys will look into their social medias like as they get older? Like, you can have one, but I need access to it kind of thing?
Albie and Brooke both have social medias, but it's like private between family and stuff. But
it's more like ran by her than
them. They don't go on there and do stuff. But my whole thing is they're not going to have cell phones. If they get a phone, it's going to be those old school like flip phones. I don't want them like being totally immersed in social media and caring what people think, because I've been there. I went through this whole point in my life where all I did was care about what people thought of me. Oh, she doesn't like my shirt. Oh, I'm just going to get a different shirt. I've been there, done that, and I don't want them to do that. So if I can keep that smartphone out of their hand for as long as I can, I will.
I think we'll try and raise them more. How we were a little more old school. I think, I didn't have a phone until I was like in high school, I think.
Yeah, same.
Like sophomore, junior year, maybe. I knew kids that had them in junior high, and I'm like, what the heck, But like, I don't know. Like, I think they got to earn, certain things before that gets given to them.
Yeah.
Even like a car, like make them earn their first car. I never got a car. I had to work for it, so stuff like that.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even getting I think it was myself. I didn't get a car till senior year, and I didn't think or care to drive either. I was totally fine with the bus system. When you get to sit there, someone else drives for you. But there was like some freshman. I was a senior. And he's like, "Aren't you too old to be on the bus?" And then it just hit me at my core, and I thought to myself, "Gosh, am I?" And so I came home and was like, "I think I want a car." And I was like, well, okay, I guess. At least you waited long enough. Yeah. All my other, like everyone else in my class, as soon as they were freshmen, they tried getting the parents to sign that slip so they can get a driver's license or a permit early and then drive to school. I think you were allowed to like drive to school and home, but you couldn't drive anywhere else. I don't really know how that works. It's a weird kind of honor system that the DMV has or something like that. But yeah, even for us, I think I don't want to have my kids have a social media and then have to look over their shoulder. Mm-hmm. Who's messaging you, like, all this other stuff. So I think it would be like, hang back. There's no reason or there's no rush to have one. Mm-hmm. But even when they do, try to teach them like how to navigate those waters. Yeah. Because again, like we grew up in it. We grew up in the internet. And I want to say like the first thing you learned, the first lesson we probably learned was like the 3-way call. When someone would call you asking you all these questions, and then that person they're asking about is secretly on the other line. Yes. Yeah. And it's like, dude, that's really shady.
Yeah. You just hear someone breathing. Who is that?
And then cell phones come out, and now we have to deal with, pictures and videos and Snapchats and all this other stuff. And
I remember like like dial-up internet,
Yeah.
Like, not everyone had computers. And I remember like going to like a buddy of mine's house. I think we were like in 5th or 6th grade, and he's like, dude, check this thing out. It's like called chat. Like we like get into this chat room, and there's like some dude like, hey, we're just like,
ASL,
who's this?
Oh yeah.
Wait.
Age, sex, and location.
Yeah.
Location, yeah.
Yeah, and we're just like, what is this? And it was just crazy. Like,
dude, and learning like not even knowing to the degree, like the predatorial pool that just chat rooms were back then.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you see it in movies like Lifetime for women movies now, and it's like a lot of kids went missing. A lot of kids were taken advantage of that way.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So creepy. I'm just, what I'm just going to do? I'm just going to unplug the internet. Oh my gosh. I
wouldn't survive.
I wouldn't survive. Well, because we stream everything from the internet, you know?
Like, do you guys have cable, or is it just all streaming services?
All stream.
Yeah,
Netflix,
same here.
Disney Plus, all those.
Yeah, we don't do the cable thing.
Yeah.
It's just too
we pay
expensive.
So much for internet, though.
Yeah. They're getting
like
you on internet
TV
now.
and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like our internet's like $150 a month for internet. So
and it still slows down during the peak hours.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. They're really milking us because I think we have Comcast, right?
There's
Comcast
no one
is the only one in the area.
Yeah.
So they know you can't go anywhere else. Those bastards.
Yeah. That's a whole conversation in itself. Just the corrupt system of the monopoly that the telemarketing and communication company has on everybody. But yeah, I think that it's constantly a learning process when it comes to raising your kids and growing as a family and even staying connected. Like, how do you guys maintain that level of connection with like talking to each other? Because kids want to take center stage, at least in our house. We're trying to have a conversation during dinner, and both of them are audibly getting louder and louder and louder. And it's like, well, I'll just talk to you when the kids are asleep then. Yeah. We can't even catch up.
I think that's when we have our conversations. Like late night, laying in bed, we just like talk, for a while, like a good half an hour to an hour. And then we're like, all right,
It could be midnight.
Like, yeah.
Midnight, and we'll be just laying in bed in the dark, just like
not even looking at each other, or what I mean, just laying back to back, like just talking.
Today was crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. It was crazy.
Did you see what happened? Blah, blah, blah. Like, just, it's so funny. And sometimes we'll like stop and think about it and be like, it's so late, and we're just like talking about like everything under the sun.
Yeah.
We're trying to go on a date night tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We have to like plan that, but it's so hard because you have to find a babysitter, and I don't know, it's hard. And then something comes up, and you're like, maybe tonight's not a good night to go.
I think we've been trying to go on date night for like 3 weeks, maybe at least.
Yeah. We barely got one last week.
Yeah.
Like last Saturday, we went out for sushi. And prior to that, we hadn't been on a date night for a solid month, I want to say. And it's not without the effort of trying.
Oh, yeah.
It's just nothing pans out. A babysitter falls through, or you can't find one. And my wife said, more importantly, it's like a very critical part to continue to date, even while you're married. Because you can easily settle into this, like, we're just doing this thing. We're just raising kids. And you can lose who you were before you had children.
Yeah. And I think it's like not even about like just being who you were, but growing and evolving together. Like you change so much. Everyone changes so much. And it's like you got to grow together. And I think that was like one of our biggest things we had to learn. That and like communicating like was a big problem in our relationship before. So just having like that time, like you said, to talk or, or being more open about what we talk about. Like we talk about anything now where before we'd be like more like, I don't know, I don't want to say that. It might make her mad, but
Yeah.
Or she didn't want to tell me something because it'd make me mad. But we're definitely more open now about everything. And that's really helped.
Yeah, definitely being straight up without being disrespectful, of course.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't like it when you do this. And then whatever that is, it's like, okay, I'm going to take what you said, and either I'm going to change it, or I'll be mad about it, or we'll talk about it later. But we'll get back to that. But when you bottle these things up and it becomes so just tightly compressed, and then eventually you blow.
Yeah. We literally went to counseling for like, it was like a year or something.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about that? Because there are some people that are like, no, counseling is just no.
At first, she was kind of like, no, I don't know. I don't want to talk to this lady.
I don't know this person. I don't want to talk to them.
Yeah.
But once you start going, like you get to know the person, like, and it's we love her now.
Yeah.
We try to get back into her, and she's like, she's so busy. I'm busy. I can't. Yeah. I'm like, dude, we need to talk. We need to talk about our marriage. Like, we think we're good, but like, there could be hidden stuff that's not going right.
It's good to have that third party who's like they're unbiased. They don't know you. Like, they're not your family. They're not your friends. And they don't have like this way back, like, oh, I knew Albert like before I knew you. So maybe you need to listen to Albert a little bit more.
Yeah.
So that's like a big thing. Even if you don't have problems, like if you think you don't have problems, it's still good to just go and like talk, because you never know what you could find or what could help or what could make your marriage better. That's like my thing, is always talking. Like we got into a fight yesterday over the dumbest thing. I don't even remember what it was about. What was it about?
It's always dumb.
I don't know. You're upset about the backyard thing. I know. Yeah. I know that. Yeah. She was like, you need to clean the backyard. And I'm just like, all right. And she's been telling me for like, a month or two, maybe longer, probably longer. And I was just like, no, I'm doing this right now. And she's like, no, you need to clean the backyard. And she's like really got on me and like laid into me. And I was just like, I better clean the backyard. Like she's pretty serious about that, Like me, I don't know if it's just me or men in general, but it takes a good kick in the butt, to be like, okay, she really wants that done. Like I better do it. Like,
And then like having to, I'm sorry for being an asshole. Like, maybe I could have told you better.
Yeah.
Like, but
I'm like, no, I needed that. Like, I'll admit, like, yeah, you got on me, and I was like, and realized, like, okay, yeah, I do need to do that, So sometimes I need that. Like I said,
I was kind of a jerk, though.
Yeah. I'm a huge advocate for people seeking professional help, because it's one of those things. Like when you do take those vows, and if people take them seriously when they get married, it's like, are you willing to try everything before just calling it quits? Like, this isn't working, or just living in a house where you're just uncomfortable with each other. Some people might not separate, but it's like they'll just resent each other and just still live together. And I don't view therapy as like, oh, your relationship is weak and you needed to pay for this help. It's like, no, you're trying everything. When you're sick, you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you what to take. It's not, oh, you're weak because you went and paid for a doctor to tell you what to do. I mean, it's a professional trained in that field of, well, communication and people.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It definitely helped. We were at like our rock bottom for sure. And we were desperate, so desperate, but we were pretty, like I said, we were pretty broken. So just the fact that we are where we are now, like every single anniversary we have now, we're just like, wow, like we did it. Like this is so cool.
Really? Well, yeah, you guys are high school sweethearts and everything. That is a rare
marriage. And then plus the 4 years we were together in high school. Not a whole 4 years, but before we got married. So like that's like a big thing for us. We always really celebrate that because that's special to us.
It was a tough journey. And it still is, it's always work. And
who picked who? And because like I'm sometimes curious because like I went to school with there were two couples actually that were high school sweethearts, met freshman year and have been together, still married to this day. In both scenarios, it was the wife that picked the husband.
It was our stories.
Is it the same?
It's a whole crazy story. Yeah.
He was mean. He was literally.
We hated each other at first.
He was literally my bully.
Yeah.
Really?
I literally.
So you're the guy that got pushed in the bushes? No.
No. I weighed too much. No, yeah, she. Okay, I'll tell you how it all started. At Santa Maria High, we were like so like crowded with students that it was a sophomore year, right? Yeah. Sophomore year, I got placed in like study hall. Like we had to sit in Ethel Pope Auditorium.
Oh, geez.
Because we didn't have a class assigned, and I was just like, what the heck? Like,
well, Santa Maria and AG were overcrowded at that time too.
Yeah.
This was before we got all these new high schools that anybody who comes to the
PV
Central Coast
wasn't here. Yeah. I don't even know. Bumble went.
It wasn't. My brother was actually the first graduating class out of there.
Yeah, so I had to sit in there, and it was lame. They treated us like we were in trouble. They're like, no talking, read a book, and I'm like, dude, I'm in here because you don't have a class for me. Like, chill, But so like finally, my mom called actually and got me a class like the next day. She like was like, hey, my son's not in class. Like he's not gonna go to school. So they got me a class, and then so I walk in late with a note because I just got assigned that class, and she looks at me and she's like, late on your first day, huh? And I was like,
wow.
I was like, who's this chick? Like, I don't even know her. Like, what is she talking about?
It's like front of the class. Yeah. Late on your first day.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
She was the goody. Yeah. So I was like, hand my note in and all that. I was like, okay, that's how it's going to be. So, just small little things here and there. I'd like hide her backpack and we were in graphic arts together. Yeah.
Okay.
I put her backpack in the trash can. And then we were going back and forth that whole class. And I remember getting our next schedule, and she's like, I hope I don't have a class with you. And I'm like, yeah, me too. I was like, and we look, and it was like, oh, we have our class together again. And she's like, I'm never going to talk to you in that class. I'm going to act like I don't know you. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we get to the next class, and she like, you didn't know anybody, huh? Really?
No.
And I was a jock and played football. I knew like guys from football. So I was sitting with them, and she comes over and she's like, hey, what's up? And I looked at her and I was like, who are you? Like, I don't know you. And my buddies just all start cracking up. And I remember my one buddy's like, dude, who's that? You don't know her? Like, and I was like, no, I do. But like, we have like a history. And he's like, oh, okay. So she like went and sat like on the other side. And then eventually she moved to my side of the class, like right in front of me. Yeah. And then one of the girls that was in class with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys had class with her?
She's like, Lizzie likes you, and I was just like, oh, cool. Like, I didn't like, I don't know.
Didn't care.
I didn't really, like, I was focused on other things, I wasn't really looking for a girlfriend, so.
That's because you had a girlfriend for every day of the week.
Oh,
hey, okay, yeah. We're going there.
Yeah.
He literally did. I thought he was joking when he said it.
But,
those are different times. That was the past, okay? We're talking about how you guys came together.
But he literally came.
Yeah.
He came up to me after class and was like, so you're going to go to lunch with me, right? And I was like, if you want me to. And he's like, well, I wouldn't ask if I didn't want you to. And I'm like, okay, I'll go with you.
Yeah, so then came break. And I'm like standing out there, the bell rang, and I'm like, okay, where is this girl? Like, did she really stand me up? And I was like, this girl stood me up. And I was like, no way. And like, she comes running around the corner like, oh, I'm sorry, I was late. And I was like, all right, let's go. And like, we went to McDonald's.
That was our first date at McDonald's.
Took her to McDonald's.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was nervous,
special.
so I didn't eat. I just got a McFlurry.
But that's fancy, like at that age. I mean, that's, you know, people think now, and it's like, oh, you took me to, you know, the Splash. And it's like, but if you were a freshman and you went to the Splash, that's like the coolest place to go.
It'd be fancy. But yeah, junior year. And he had his work truck, and we went to McDonald's, and I think you got chicken nuggets.
No, I got a McFlurry.
Oh, I
didn't
got
want to
chicken
eat.
nuggets.
I was nervous. I didn't want to eat.
Yeah, we were just like nibbling like
Her,
rabbits.
she was just like, I'll take this.
No, I only ordered one thing. I only ordered one thing because I was too nervous to eat in front of him. I was like,
Oh,
here's me
jeez.
chewing.
Yeah, that's how it all started right there.
Stories like that, I think, are so cool. Like my wife and I, we still need to set the time to sit down and talk about like our children's birth story, so that we can document it and then they can listen back on it. Because I'm sure as time passes, so much is going to change.
Oh, yeah.
Like you remember what you had now, but by the time your kids are in high school and they might be finding their first dates, you might be like, well, when did we go out? What did we have? Like so much has happened in that span of time. So that's why I like to try to get things down and
Remember them.
yeah.
I would say that's one good thing about social media as far as like documenting, you know, your life kind of, and videos and everything you have archived or whatever. So it was a cool part of it to have.
And now
all
they
that.
remind you, like, Lizzie, 2 years ago, you were doing this or doing that. Wow, thanks. I needed that good reminder.
I know. I always thank Facebook for like not bringing up like really old stuff. And it's like, thanks, Mark Zuckerberg, for helping me dodge the bullet on some of these past events I'd like to forget. But
at least MySpace isn't available anymore to like remind you. Oh,
I've heard people's profiles are still available.
I think
like,
mine is.
Yeah, I don't remember my login or
I never had
anything.
a MySpace.
Oh, I did. My first friend was Tom.
Yeah, that was like like a legit, I think, dating site. Like you could search people. I mean, part of the search box when you want to specialize is you can pick smoker or non-smoker. Why does anybody need to know that when they're looking for somebody unless it was?
Know that.
Yeah.
I just remembered like
You could put radius from area code. You could put just filter it out to just females only, and even I think interests. And so you can find someone specifically.
that's crazy. I didn't know that. I was just more worried about who put me in like their top 6 spots or whatever. Was it top 8 or top 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I cared about. And then my backsplash, and you could go in and like.
MySpace was fun.
That
was
was
a
so
fun
much
site.
fun.
Yeah, you missed out, Albert. I think that would have been a fun time for you.
I didn't do MySpace. I didn't even do Facebook. Like, for the
It took me a
longest
while.
time. I think you made my first Facebook for me.
I only made it because I played Farmville, and I'd send him like coins.
Yeah, I was like late on the social media thing. I wasn't into it. I don't know.
Yeah. Instagram's cool because I think it's just post a snapshot, and now you can do a video or something like that. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow. I usually don't know how to end these podcasts, but we'll end it here because I can't record longer than an hour. I can't upload longer than an hour. I would love to talk to people for way longer, but
Well, this is a good video, so we'll listen to it on our way to LA tomorrow, and we'll just listen to it and laugh at ourselves.
awesome. Yeah, the video will be up on YouTube, and then the podcast will be available. Well, I'll let you guys know when the podcast will be up. I don't know if you guys are subscribed. Not that you have to my podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, wherever people consume podcasts, pretty much.
She's on there. I got to get on there and listen to. I don't even think I have. It's an app, right? I don't even have the app on my
I was
phone.
talking with Joey about it, actually. He stopped listening to music while working and started listening to podcasts.
Yeah, I noticed our brother-in-law too. He's always listening to podcasts.
Yeah, personal development stuff.
Yeah.
Like mine is more like kind of family-oriented stuff, and just anything and everything that you'd ever want to consume. Murder mysteries is a big thing. It's really cool because I was getting tired of music kind of like radio. You can almost set your clock to when the song comes on.
Yeah, and the same
songs. Yeah, the same songs throughout the day. And podcasts, at least, it's something new, something different every time.
Yeah, especially when I'm cleaning and organizing, just like to put on a podcast that's about organizing, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it with you guys. I'm going to clean my house.
Yeah, you don't always have the attention or the time to set your attention to a video, but you can be doing things and listening to other things. Mm-hmm. So I definitely want to thank you guys for coming through. It's always chaotic as parents. I think getting two parents together when there's children and errands and all this other stuff, it's almost like it becomes just this huge movement to make that happen. So I want to thank you guys for coming and being on the podcast.
Of course.
Yeah, anytime. We'll do it again. We
love
this
it?
kind of stuff. I was nervous at first.
You guys should start a podcast, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thank you guys. And for those of you who are still listening, thank you for continuing to listen, and feel free to subscribe. Till next time, you guys. See ya.
Bye.